I know exactly what you're thinking. Why in the actual anything do we let these five idiots have cameras?
Well, they let me have a camera because I gave them my credit card number, and they're like, "Here, have one."
I'm not so much concerned about the camera with TG. I'm concerned about the mic.
And there's that.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, we're here. And, well, we might be a little on the well, for lack of a better term, we might be a little on the late side, but we're here. We're ready to go. I am, of course, your morbid host, TGE. With me, of course, is the four crazy saps who like to listen to me prattle on for a couple of hours. I'm not sure why. But anyway.
We're not either.
I'm
I
not
know
sure
exactly
what you know them
why.
as. Yeah, I'm not sure what you know them as. I know what I know them as. I know them as Crimson Avix, OPT Lawyer, Dark Falls, and Nerestra. So that is our lovely band of, well, for lack of a better term, that's our lovely band of idiots, everybody.
See if I can roll better than a 1 tonight.
Probably not.
You're not wrong.
So again, for those of you who are here and you are playing the aforementioned Malkir drinking game, I hope you brought water, because
I want to know how they're still alive if they've been playing that.
Also true. We here at Basic
Strong
Chronicles
livers.
are not responsible for any health issues that may arise from playing the Malkir drinking game. Please, as your bartender, I advise you, please drink responsibly.
Yes. As your lawyer, also, please.
Just remember, any advice given here on stream is not actual legal advice.
Not at all. Not a little bit.
Speaking of, we do have some other advice to give before we actually get going. And that is going to be coming up here in 2019. There's going to be a little change. And that is, we here at Bay City Chronicles are going to be moving to our own Twitch page. We are no longer going to be here at Randomania, and we do thank Randomania, too, for giving us this lovely platform to work off of. But we are going to be in that first Wednesday in 2019. We are going to be moving to, as you can see there in the chat, twitch.tv/Bay City Chronicles. So again, that is going to be starting in 2019, and we will keep reminding everybody when that change comes. That also is going to come with it a change to the YouTube page that will also happen at the same time as the transition, and we will plug every time and everything about that. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are getting ready to start here. This is, I believe, issue 2.9. This is episode, if I can learn to talk, this episode is called Consequences. Last time, the party found themselves in Goffstown, attempting to figure out where the would-be assassins, had run off with a younger version of the hero that you had met 15 years in the future. You guys, Malkir got in contact with one of his shaggier underbelly informant types, who basically threatened him saying, you will find them or bad things will happen. Bad things did happen, but not to the informant, as a couple 20 minutes later, Malkir received a text with a cryptic riddle, a cryptic location, which you guys managed to track down to the gymnasium at the college in Goffstown. Once there, you guys ran across the two Capliano sisters and old friend Pax, who, well, let's just put it this way. Some things happened, and Otter got mighty mad. Mighty mad.
He growled and snarled and stuff.
He did. So you guys managed to take care of the issues of the assassins. They boot scooted out of there. You rescued Ven. You met the rest of Ven's family. Some funny lines were had. In the process of that, though, Phantasm snuck off on his own. Where he went, well, that's the screen you currently see up on what you see up there. That is Ayers Rock. Phantasm went there to attempt to obtain the first of the 3 magical medallions without informing Lutra, and therefore informing the spirit of Shemhazai living in Lutra's head. Lutra did manage to figure this out, but the group, had to stop and refuel in Bay City before they make their way over to Ayers Rock. So we are really quickly going to do a quick stop off at Bay City in the flight before we get to what's happening back at Ayers Rock. So Malkir, Lutra, and Anton, you have landed back on the roof.
So Lutra's probably been sleeping for most of this flight because, like, he just expended a crap ton of energy. I believe that is the legal professional term. And once he gets
no, the legal term is metric crap ton.
Metric tech, you're right. Absolutely. I forgot the metric part. So after they land, and I'm assuming somebody wakes Lutra up, he's going to go kind of inside, a little bit sleepy. But once he gets inside, he looks up and says, "Hey, Hub, where's Ben at?"
As far as I understand, he should be in the loft.
Okay. I'm gonna go up. Just see if he's okay. So Lutra kind of pads up that way.
He's perfectly fine, I can tell you that.
Well, you can tell me what it looks like, but... Lutra goes and he knocks on the door.
Hub opens it before you get there.
Oh, thank you. So Lutra walks in, pads over towards Ben's, wherever he's at. Kind of like stands up like, "Hi."
Hi.
"Hi, Ben. I just wanted to come in and say hi and make sure you're doing okay after, everything that happened. It was kind of..."
I mean, I'm fine.
Lutra kind of pads over and gives him a hug.
Otter snugs happen.
Indeed. So he pulls away and says, "So, Ben, I wanted to ask you something. It's really been bugging me for a while now, and I'm really curious about this. And I think you're the right person that needs to answer this question for me."
He looks at you very, very puzzled like. Okay.
Who's Amon?
What do you mean? I don't know anybody named Amon.
Well, I mean, I just keep hearing everybody who plays video games talking about a game where they go around and poke them.
He just sort of looks at you, and you get the biggest little kid face palm. And before Ben can answer, Hub speaks up and goes, "Do you really need me to show you what they are?"
What? What are?
Yes, you're talking about Pokemon. Okay, would you like me to give you an impression of what they are?
Is that just one word?
Yes, would you like me to show you what happens to them?
No?
Because I can if you'd like me to.
And no.
Ben looks and goes,
What?
"You can
Why do I
that?"
get a feeling? Why do I get a feeling Hub would have shown a picture of Weasel?
Right.
I thought about having Hub show him a picture of Weasel, but Ben's like, "Wait, you can do that?" "Oh, of course I can do that. Do you want to see it?" And Ben is nodding in approval. He's sort of looking at Lutra. "Please."
Okay.
So at this point, 2 of the Hub bots show up, and thankfully for Lutra, this is not one of these small versions, but they have 2 parts to a giant plastic hamster ball, and shove Lutra in the giant plastic hamster ball.
Hey!
This is what happens to Pokemon. They're animals, that they're adorable, and they get trapped in capsules like this one.
That's great. Can you let me out now?
I mean, I could.
Lutra kind of not so gently hits at the ball.
It starts rolling like a giant hamster ball is supposed to.
Okay.
Hub's gonna. Ben, can you hit the button in the middle to unlock it? Do I have to?
Yeah, we're kind of in a hurry. Sort of. I'm leaving again. I can't really get around to this thing.
I'm not pausing the game though. You'll have to come to me.
Is this clear? Can he actually see?
Oh yeah, it's a giant clear hamster ball.
Okay. So he kind of pets, like, rolls over.
I love how Ben is delaying him from getting to...
Well, they're fueling the plate up. I have to assume that's going to take a while.
Not really.
No.
But you walk over and you're sort of sitting there next to him, and is this in the game you recognize? It's not something you played yet, and he's just sitting there playing, and gets to a point where he can finally do something. He just reaches over and hits the button in the middle, and it just the top just sort of pops off.
Okay, thank you. Which quickly scrambles out of said ball, and like gets himself on the floor again, and just kind of like. He's sitting there rubbing his shoulders like...
Yeah, for the record, he is playing Fallout 3.
Oh, thanks for answering the question, Ben. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Lutra says as he kind of pads away rather quickly.
And then you hear Hub. Gotta catch them all. So, as you guys get back to the plane, does anybody want to do anything on any scenes on the plane before we shift scenes?
All you do is see Lutra come back into the plane, like, poutingly, and sitting down and just, like, crossing his arms, like,
What happened to you?
Nothing!
You at this point hear Hub over your speakers.
Shut up, Hub!
I can show you what happened.
No, they don't want to know.
Hey, Lutra.
No, you want to know. You really want to know.
Hey, Lutra. Here, take this. I found it at the house while y'all were away.
Thank you.
I'm assuming it's Swedish fish.
Yeah. He held it up to
at this
the
point,
camera.
his camera's covered on my screen.
Oh.
I can only cover up one face, so I figured Nora was the best bet.
It's the hair.
So at this point, after Anton hands Lutra the Swedish fish, one of those virtual screens pops up in front of you, and you just see Hub trapping Lutra in the giant capsule and him rolling around the loft for a minute.
Oh, that's great. I wonder if that would work for rocks.
Lutra just kind of glares over in your direction.
You just hear the communicator again. Lutra asked Ben what Amon was because he didn't understand Pokemon. So I showed him. Look, don't you think Lutra will make a great Dweezil?
I get the feeling I didn't really learn what any of that was.
At this point, Malkier would just be getting more and more ticked off as he was at the end of the last episode. But considering this is PG friendly, that would not say what Malkier would probably be saying right now.
Right.
But
as Malkier goes to say it,
Anton
the AI on the plane just beeps out every word.
Beep 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 beep.
just plays like massively loud white noise over everything.
Yeah, it sounds like he's sending Morse code.
Right.
And then there's like one just long beep, and then the screen fades out and back in, and we're at Ayers Rock. So we're at Ayers Rock, and the last thing that the Guardian here said to you was, well, then you need to prove to me that you're worthy of it. And she raises her arms up and starts gathering the wind to her.
As she does that, Phantasm just sort of braces himself. Just because, well, He's done that before, and he knows what it can do, so he just braces himself while she does that.
So at this point, she just is gathering the wood, and she goes, "Show me you're worthy of my gift. Come at me."
Phantasm does his little smoke thing. And comes and stops right in front of her and just stands there.
By the way, the winds you're standing in around her right now are ridiculously powerful. Like you've manipulated wind before. You know how fast you can manipulate wind. This is nothing like you've ever seen before when it comes to power and speed of the wind. You do not have expertise magic, do you?
I do not.
Then go ahead and give me an insight check. Alrighty. With that 20, you can't be sure, but it feels like because of where you are and how much this location is associated with powerful winds, you think that the location might be having an effect on the strength of the winds. In game terms, what that means is anything with the wind descriptor is functioning at +1 power level rank. So if it was a damage 10, it would be a damage 11. She's sort of looking at you. Why do you not attack? Don't you seek what I have?
I do. But I don't seek what you have out of aggression.
I understand that. And it's not out of aggression I seek to learn about you. But I need to know how someone who has embraced the darkness such as yourself has not succumbed to it. Show me.
And with that, I'm going to use a hero point.
Okay.
And I'm going to do this.
Air Surge.
It's a Spectre ability.
It is a Spectre ability.
By the way, I have not vamped up Spectre's numbers to meet our current power level and everything else. So.
But rank 20, I mean, it's a rank 10, so it's perfectly fine. Let's see what she gets. That would be a dodge check. For the record, she's probably making the dodge check because she's dodgy AF.
I expect it.
She only beats it by 2, so she'll still have to make a fortitude save. And technically it's a 21 because it's an air descriptor. So, surprisingly enough, because this is not something you've done for a really long time, is access the wind side of things for you. So you focus for a little bit, and some of the winds that she has, you manage to sort of reverse their direction and throw them back at her. And while she's not thrown to the ground, she is pushed back a little bit and sort of caught off guard by that because she definitely was not expecting that from darkness powers. So She sort of it's pushed back a little bit, does a sort of hero slide, looks up at you, and there's almost a smile on her face. You're more interesting than I thought. You might finally be the one after all. Just to be sure, see how you react to adversity. And she's going to call the wind that she's been controlling around her into a funnel cloud. And basically, she's sending a twister after you. She's attacking you with Cyclonic Rift. So I'll need a dodge check from you. The DC is 22. I've already factored in her stuff here.
Yeah, I'm using the hero point. Other hero point I have.
Well, you can use the hero point on the dodge, or you can use the hero point on the damage effect. Because it's just a DC 27 damage, and then you'll get a movement check versus the move object.
So wait, what was the damaging do?
It's a damaging move object. So basically, she's trying to encapsulate you in a tornado. So you can use the hero point to reroll the dodge check to get out of the way, or you can roll the toughness save. And if you fail that, you would use the hero point on that. Then depending on the toughness save will depend on what you have to make for a resistance to the being caught up in the swirl of the tornado.
Oh my god. Dark. Let go of my dice.
No.
Okay. I'm going to use the hero point on the toughness check.
Alrighty. Remember, anything below a 10? Well, that's the first one there.
I double-clicked, apparently.
Yep. Oh, the first one's what I'm going with anyway. Looks like you rolled a 13. Yeah, so 24 total. So you'll end up taking a bruise. How many ranks of flight do you have? Can't hear you. Still couldn't hear you.
I have to bring up Hero Lab.
Oh, okay. Yep. Because basically what I'm going to have you do is roll a d20 plus your flight ranks to resist being caught up in the swirl of the tornado. Meanwhile, as he's looking that up, we're going to shift back to the plane, which is still flying towards Australia. And in the inside of the plane, there is now two screens, where screen one is water skiing, and it transitions to as Lutra gets flung off. Hub has it set up, or the AI of the plane has it set up, not Hub, where as Lutra flies off the one screen from the water skiing, it transitions to him rolling around in the capsule ball. He's enjoying that way too much, by the way.
Lucha is clearly not.
That looks fun.
Shut up.
I have like this vision in my head of just Lucha being ticked off, Malcolm being really ticked off, and I'm just wondering what the heck's going on.
Pretty much.
Lucha looks over towards Anton. Would you like to be stuck in a ball?
I can make my own ball.
Shut up!
I'm good.
Oh, alrighty, and we're at a comic panel shift. Back to Ayers Rock.
It finally loaded up.
Yay!
So 1d20 plus 6.
Yep. You were
Holy
fine.
Crap.
Well, no, you're fine because basically how... I'm not necessarily sure if this is the way the game does it, how I rule move object is the rank of the move object that you're affected by is however many digits you failed your roll by. Since you failed the toughness save by 3, it was a rank 3 ability, which would have been DC 13. You rolled a 14, so you're fine. So you managed to basically get pelted a little bit by the strong winds that are a little stronger than you were expecting, but you managed to not get caught up in the cylinder, so it sort of goes around and just brushes through you off the rock, and you're still sort of left standing there. It is now we're technically on initiative back and forth. So go ahead, you're up.
I'm actually not going to do anything. I am just going to take a defensive stance.
Defensive stance. Are you really that afraid of the darkness that you're not even going to use it? That's not showing me anything. That's showing me a coward. You say you came here to save your friend. What are you willing to do to save him?
My friends are in the situation that they're in because I succumbed to the darkness. Why would I embrace it right now?
You said you wanted to save your friend. You tell me that you don't embrace the darkness, yet that's all I sense. Your aura is flaring up of darkness. So you can't have it both ways. Are you trying to save your friend, or are you trying to save yourself?
I can save my friend while harnessing the darkness.
Then show me. Show me that you can harness it without succumbing to it. And if you can't, she's just standing there waiting for a response.
I'll show you. I'm just not going to attack you.
And how do I know that when the time comes and you use the darkness, that it won't swallow you up?
I guess you'll have to test me.
If you insist. As that happens, suddenly the direction of the wind shifts. And you'll get for free that it's all coming in, like the entire direction of the wind shifts. It's now all coming in from the east. Her eyes start glowing green. And it's almost like she's coalescing the entire force of like 5 hurricanes to send at you. And she is attacking you with Borrowing the Eastern Winds. That was not the one I wanted to crit. But we're going to roll with this. So I'm going to use the secondary option on crits, which is to not increase the DC by 5, but to add a rank 0 affliction to it as well. So first things first, go ahead and make me a DC 33 toughness save, as the full force of the eastern wind hits you square in the chest. Okay then. The following is happening, because I'm not going to bother making you roll for the affliction when that's a 4-tier failure. So what's going to happen is the full force of the wind engulfs you. Like you've seen, like Dragon Ball Z, like the full laser blast just engulfs somebody, and all you can sort of see is their silhouette. I mean, you take this shot square in the chest. And I personally, as a GM, am triggering this. So you're not going to get a hero point, but she is certain that there is no way you're getting up from that. But standing there in front of her, you're still there, but it's not the phantasm that initially got hit with the blast of wind. The full blast of magic wind hitting you triggered your trance. And as the sort of wind dies down, she's expecting to see you face down on top of the rock. And when she sees you still standing, she's half shocked and half impressed. But it is Trance Phantasm's turn.
At this point, Phantasm doesn't say anything. He stares at her. His eyes glow almost like a neon violet. And these black, like, they're almost like arms without the hands. It's just black strands extend from him and then wrap around him. And he ends up using this on himself.
Okay. So he swallows himself into the shadows. Where is he going?
The Shadow Realm, that's exactly what that does.
Right, but this is now your description. So she looks up and just these tendrils wrap around you and you disappear.
Basically, at this point, he will call out, so his voice will be kind of ethereal, like almost over the winds. I said I am not fighting you.
So instead, and then she'll respond with the same sort of on the wind, just so the voice sort of stays the same. So instead, you would swallow yourself to not fight me.
I can come back.
Can you see what's happening on top of the rock, or no, when you're in this area? Because that's up to you.
Basically, the best way to describe it is think Frodo when he puts the ring on.
Yeah, because basically, I'm going to use a little D&D terminology for those of you who don't know what's going on here. Basically, the plane of shadows is effectively like taking the negatives of a camera picture. It's basically everything that's the same, but just in negative form. So you can still see her reaction. It's basically a mirror. So she sort of looks up, and there's a smile on whatever it is face. You can't feel the wind because it's happening on the non-shadow side, but you can definitely hear the wind, and you see the wind sort of wrap her up, and she disappears. And did I not load them up in here? Oh, bugger, I did not. And unfortunately, I did not load up the picture I thought I had already. But from your shadow side of things, you just see what appears to be a shine or a glint.
A shine or a glint actually in the shadow realm, or
Nope. It's like it's you can see it there, but it's on the material plane.
I walk over to where it is, but I stay in the shadow realm.
You can't really tell what it is because everything is sort of in negative colors here.
Okay, at that point, I come out of the shadow realm, but I'm braced for like an attack.
It is just you on top of the rock.
At this point, Phantasm yells out, "That's it? That's your test?"
You hear a response on the wind. I needed to make sure that you wouldn't fall to the darkness. By not fighting, even when enhanced as you are, and opting to remove yourself, you've shown me that you can be trusted.
Right now, I'm only worried about fighting one person. And that's to help Lutra.
Then what you just obtained should help you with that.
At that point, Phantasm leans over and picks up the medallion and then just sits with his legs dangling off the rock, waiting for the others to show up.
All right, shifting back to the plane. What's going on the plane?
Lutra's sitting in a corner, arms folded, he's just cross.
Just so you're aware, we'll be landing in about 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Could you turn the video off now?
Broop, broop.
Thank you.
You do know all you had to do was ask, correct?
I did.
Before I showed them.
Lutra sighs. Why does everything have to have stupid AI on it?
At this point, Lucha and Anton both notice like the temperature in the plane is just like slowly increasing as we get closer and closer to Ares Rock, because Malka's just getting more and more ticked off.
Lutra looks behind him and towards you and says, "What's going on, Malkir?"
I'll deal with that when I see Phantasm.
Lutra kind of gives us kind of a shrug of the shoulders and just doesn't really respond to that.
Anton doing anything?
No, I'm just watching these two go back and forth. And by these two, I mean the AI and Lutra.
All right.
They don't
We'll
give
be...
this AI a name. How important is he?
If you want, I'll smash it.
I would very much prefer if you didn't.
I think we'd like.
Yes, I know you would.
I think we'd like the plane to operate, Anton, unless you know how to fly the thing.
I watched one.
Yeah, I did too. I pushed a button. You know what happened? It did something. I don't know what it did, and I don't remember which button it was, but I could go up to there and just start pushing buttons if you'd like.
And
Let's land first.
probably the best course of action.
Yes.
No one asked you.
The medallion is now actually up on the screen. I did send you the picture.
Freedom!
So, at this point, the AI, unlike, Phantasm, is not one for subtlety. So, excuse me, as my headphone cord is caught here, the jet, which I'm not sure if has actually been given a name yet, just sort of flies right over, and Ayers Rock is a big old rock. It lands right on top of the rock.
I get the feeling we may
rock.
have just caused an international incident or two.
That's a big rock. I'm home.
And you guys just sort of see there sitting at the edge of the rock with his feet dangling over the edge. Phantasm.
Phantasm doesn't even turn around to acknowledge the jet just landed behind him. He's just still sitting there looking out over the field.
Lutra gets up and waits by the door for it to open.
That was my door opening sound effect.
So Lutra pads out, kind of walks over in Phantasm's direction, but stays about, 5 feet behind him or so. Actually, farther than that. About 10 feet behind him or so, and just calls out, "Hey!" He doesn't look none too happy. Why would you go running off by yourself again?
I needed to.
Okay, remember what happened the last time you did that? You know what we had to go through to find you? Lucha looks very upset with you. I thought we were a team. Why don't you just go running off by yourself?
Before Fant can respond, Lutra hears, because he doesn't trust us.
Lucha kind of like tilts his head to the side and closes his eyes and shakes his head a bit. But Fant would clearly know that someone's talking to him.
I ran off because I needed to. I ran off because we needed me to.
Lucha frowns at that response and says, "Always so cryptic, too. Never telling us what's going on. Oh, it's so frustrating."
Do you want to know why you couldn't come along?
Yeah.
He's going to blame me.
Because I just took an attack that should have killed me. You guys would have died, been thrown from the top of this rock into the field below.
Lucha's eyes kind of widen, but he doesn't look happier about it.
For the record, when Phantasm says that, you're not sure how you know this, but you also feel Dev's eyes widen in. You feel her shock when that's his answer.
He just looks up to this. So you put yourself in danger, alone, again.
You guys had to finish taking care of Van.
We were finished.
No, the battle was finished. You still had more taking care of Van to do. This needed to be done. You don't understand now, but you will.
Lutra just turns around, walks back towards the jet.
You have nothing else to say to him?
No.
You're not tired of him doing this?
I am, but if I just keep talking, I'm just gonna be more and more angry. Just need to go calm down.
Would you like me to talk to him?
Gosh, I'd love that.
Hearing
You're
all this
giving-
banter back and forth,
You're giving me permission to talk to him?
What does that even mean?
Go ahead, Krim.
Phantasm turns around and just yells, like very sternly and in a tone that Lutra has never heard from Phantasm before. Lutra!
It just stops. What? I thought we were going.
I'm making it your decision here, right now. You're either going to trust me, or you're going to trust Dev.
What does Dev have to do with anything?
Tell me one thing Dev has said that has not been leading you away from me, away from us.
Well, there was the...
Let me guess. Dev has told you about how I'm constantly misleading you and lying to you.
Luke just kind of sits there and blinks for a second, and then looks at you and says, "Yeah, but you're not proving her wrong."
Just because I haven't told you everything that's going on doesn't mean I've lied to you.
Look, I may not be the smartest guy here, but I'm actually kind of sure that is, in fact, lying.
No. I told you that we were going to Egypt. We went to Egypt. That is not a lie. We went to Alexandria. I told you that we went to the library. I told you that I found parchment. I showed you the parchment.
So where do we go next?
As I said, if you want to trust Dev, and she's telling you that you can't trust me, then why do you have a problem if I leave?
Because you're supposed to be my friend.
I'm trying to be your friend.
You know what?
Let me
Maybe...
talk to him.
Lucha kind of grabs his forehead and kind of calls out, "Maybe you should just talk to her yourself."
With that, you'll see a sort of creepy violet-like glow in Lutra's eyes. A bright flash of light will occur, and standing in Lutra's place, you see, well, Dev, aka Shemhazai the Whisperer. She sort of does the whole neck crack thing. I thought he'd never let me out of there. She looks right at you. Give me the medallion, and your friend can live.
At that point, I reach out and touch Shemhazai's arm, but I don't target her with this. I target Lutra with this.
do you have a way of targeting somebody's inside somebody else? Because
I do.
technically,
Well, actually, I don't know. I haven't read all of it.
Reading, who does that?
Yeah, really.
Right. Perception ranged. Unfortunately, you need to have some sort of knowledge of where they are. And you know that Lutra was there. You know that he's probably somewhere in the recesses of Shemhazai's mind. You don't know where. So unfortunately, you can't accurately target that. And Krim, if you said something, I couldn't hear it.
I just said okay.
Okay. Or we can do this the hard way. It's your choice.
You've made life for me, and more importantly, Lutra, living hell the past week. It's already been the hard way.
Have it your way, then. And with that, it's going to be initiative. Also, for those of you who are watching this at home, and if you would like to cue up some music, I'm going to suggest pick your battle music from Final Fantasy Tactics. That'd be an appropriate time to do this.
Random question: should I be rolling initiative here?
If you're going to do anything, you're going to be on her turn.
Okay.
And as of right now, the only person you can communicate with is her.
Fair.
On her turn, I will explain what's going to happen.
Okay.
Right. So I need a Malkir initiative.
I'm still mentally debating how I want to handle this.
That's perfectly fine. I still need to know when you're going in the order. I have no problem if you want to mentally debate how you do. Oh, well, that's lovely right there. Alrighty, technically it is Phantasm's turn.
So technically, right now we're seeing Shimpazi and Lutra's not there anymore,
No.
or
No, yeah. Basically, they switched places. Lutra is now in the recesses of his head, and
okay.
Yeah, Shemhazai is here. But yes, Phantasm is up.
All right. So to start, Shemhazai or Phantasm decides to I have to find my actual sheet. I have all three up right now.
Hashtag need more monitors.
Right. Or more characters in the same game.
Sorry.
That was a joke.
Yep. I can actually put on some Final Fantasy Tactics battle music here if we'd like.
Only under the stars.
Right.
Okay. I can do that.
That's a little loud, though.
Good.
Just so I can hear you guys over it.
I think I have the volume all the way down because I barely heard that and I don't hear it at all. But that's okay because I'm the one broadcasting this, so whatever.
I thought, I knew you were going to go for Under the Stars, but Apoplexy wouldn't be bad either.
No.
Anyway, so Phantasm. Transtasm.
I'm going to go after with Black Storm.
Alrighty, I don't believe a 17 is going to hit her. No, 17 is not going to hit her.
As he's firing that, he's yelling out, Lutra, you need to let go. And that's it. So.
Alrighty, that makes it Malkir's turn.
So after coming off the jet, I'm gonna kind of stand back a bit and just put my hand on Anton's shoulder and just kind of say, "Be ready, but let him handle it for now." And just kind of brace myself defensively.
All right, full defensive action has been taken. Anton.
So I'm going to
You have Malkir's suggestion, or you can do what you would like.
I'm actually going to have the Guardian Earth start to activate in front of both of us.
All right, so you're basically also going for a defensive stance.
Yeah.
Oh, right. In that case, what I'm going to do is, assuming this plays out in the one-on-one confrontation that he needs to right now, Phantasm is actually going to be getting the hero point because you're going one-on-one with a presumed god. Because your allies are letting you handle the Lutra situation. So Phantasm's actually getting the hero point for Malkir and Anton's actions.
Interesting.
Yep.
I guess.
Well, because you're the one who's technically being affected by it.
It makes sense.
Well, it's more of a situation where Malkir knows that he can't help Lucha where he is, but he knows that Phantasm may have some shot at doing it.
Right.
So Anton's just taking the standard, hey, what's going on here? Let's get a shield up.
So at this point, you can see her obviously arms are bow. She's like, all right then. She will go ahead and pull an arrow out, and she is firing at you with Soul Devouring Arrow. Does a 26 hit you? And excuse me.
Bless you.
Bless you.
If that 26 does hit, I will need a will save at DC 21. Yeah, no. So, yeah, the arrow comes right at you, and the aura surrounding you just sort of sees the arrow, and one of the tendrils of black aura just sort of comes and just slaps the arrow down like it's a joke. Lutra, this is your chance to communicate.
With Dev, right?
Currently just with Dev.
Right. Hey, what's going on? This is weird.
Your friend attacked me. I'm simply defending myself.
Oh, why would he do that?
Because he doesn't trust us. Phantasm, go ahead and give me a perception check. You're not quite sure where, but you can tell based off of the little facial expressions that you're getting from her that she is, after she fired the arrow, she was communicating to Lutra. You're not sure where yet, but you know she was. And you are up.
I reach up and I remove the medallion from around my neck. And then I just take a defensive stance.
All right. Malkier and Anton still doing the same thing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, but you ever see those like WWE cage matches where someone's like really like anticipating like getting into the cage and there's like pacing back and forth?
Yeah.
Just getting more and more ticked off. And that's kind of what Malkier is doing right now, just like knowing that he shouldn't attack, but really wanting to.
He's just like, I just want to go in. I just want to get it. I just want to get it.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. Like he's just getting more and more ticked off that he can't help, but he knows like he can't help.
Since there is another medallion in play at this point, is Anton's medallion reacting in any way to it, or
Nope.
any sort of? Okay. Then yeah, just continuing to maintain the shield in between Malkier and myself, along with in between Champazi.
Ooh. So you're removing it to give it to me. Smart man. Hand it over. And she sort of extends her hand. Lutra, this is your chance to communicate.
Does he have any perception of what's actually going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything, because you basically what's happening is you're sort of sitting in Dev's mind.
Okay.
So anything that her mind is processing, you know what's going on because you're in there. It's like you're sitting in the back of a room and someone turns the lights on. You know someone has turned the lights on.
Gotcha.
You might not see everything per se, but you know everything that's going on.
So what would Lutra hear us at this point also?
If Shemhazai can hear you, Lutra can.
So at this point, Malkier,
Whether or not it gets through completely is based off of rolls that will happen.
So at this point, Malkier would yell out to Lutra that this is exactly what Phantasm was trying to prevent. Exactly the situation where Champazai was seeing exactly what Lutra was seeing and hearing. And just kind of like trying to wake Lutra up to the fact that Phantasm was trying to prevent her from getting information.
You do hear that.
Why do you want the medallion so badly?
The same reason I want the one around your friend's neck, too. And the other two on the other half of the parchment that your friend tore.
What?
You really are naive.
Hmm?
I was so lucky that it was you who picked up the medallion. You were so easy to manipulate.
No.
I want the medallions to rule the world.
How could you?
Oh, very easily.
believe I fell for that.
And this one, she says, you'll actually hear her saying this out loud because she's rather confident. I wish every time someone picked up my coin, they could all be as dumb as this otter. You all do hear her say that, by the way.
Lutra almost cries out.
At that, like, you just like the actual like flames start like manifesting on Malkir as he gets even more irate.
Go ahead, Lutra, and roll me a presence check.
Okay, hold on a sec. Oh, I do have that. +1.
Alrighty. Unfortunately, you do not hear the screams of Lutra yelling out, just because that doesn't beat her base defense yet on that. So, but it is Phantasm's turn, and you did just hear her call Lutra, quote, a dumb otter.
At that, and Malkir and
you can
Anton
roll another
will be-
perception check, by the way, if you need to. Fortunately, again, you definitely know they're talking. You have a pretty good idea where Lutra probably is, but you're still not 100% sure.
Well, at this point, Anton and Malkir will definitely be able to see this. That violet glow in Phantasm's eyes happen again, and then it's just a bright, like, violet light coming out of his eyes, very, very similar to Lutra's, and Phantasm's attacking with this.
Well, it is perception ranged, so you hit her.
Right, she
And-
just has to save.
Right. And interestingly enough, due to the nature of her powers and everything, she is not immune to fear.
Interesting.
Some of them are based on, what they are, but someone who deals in secrets, which is mostly what she is not immune to fear. Because there are still things that a spy is afraid of. Unfortunately, nothing in her dreams. But for a split second, and actually, as you do this, go ahead and roll me another perception check. This will be a significantly lower DC.
And
Or
of
it
course, I
doesn't
roll
matter.
higher.
Right. So basically what happens is the way Phantasm's night terrors work is his eyes sort of have that purple glow, and it sort of projects fear into the eyes and the mind and the soul of whoever he's looking at. So in that split second when Shemhazai and Phantasm's eyes locked, Phantasm was able to sort of get a quick glimpse into Shemhazai's mind. He knows exactly where Lutra is.
Yeah, basically what it does is Phantasm looks into the mind of the individual and he pulls the fear out.
Right.
And he plays on it. So
She stopped you from pulling the fear out. She did not stop you from mapping Lutra's location.
So you're
Ruh-roh.
saying we have an otter map?
you cannot even be facepalming right now, TG.
No, see, I'm just waiting for the interlude where Lutra has to go to the bathroom so we can... Go ahead and facepalm. And Malkir, you're up.
So the flames that are coming off of Malkir are just slowly going from like red, like into green, into blue now.
Ooh, we
As it
got
gets
blue
more
fire.
and more- as it gets more and more cheesed, and he just like staring at Phantasm, just waiting for him to release Lutra so he can actually do something.
We're turning Ares Rock into a volcano, apparently.
That's basically what's happening.
Right.
Like,
I'm just picturing Hades from Hercules, just.
Right?
Can you do a James Woods impression?
Can you cool it back there? You're lighting my pants on fire.
I just look over at Anton. He just sees like the flames in my eyes and just like, shut up.
I blow his hair out.
I will let you aesthetically blow his hair out. Oh, look, there it is, gone. It is Shemhazai's turn. Very well, then. You don't want to hand it over to me? I'll take it by force. And she is attacking you with Soul Purge. And will miss, because I rolled a 1.
Because
Apparently,
it's a critical miss, whenever she does that, Phantasm actually laughs.
well, she is actually going to fatigue herself then an extra effort to fire again because you're laughing. However, she's going to miss there too. Because I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Yes, you did.
Yep. However, the laughing is going to trigger her afraid of being left behind complication. So she will get a villain point because you have now found her fatal weakness. Just like ego and anger were the other ones. It is now Phantasm's turn.
Aw.
Oh, but Lutra can communicate if he wants to.
Yes.
Or with Shem, or try to.
Right.
Anyway. However, it's going to take a lot more because she now is completely focused on Phantasm because of the laughing.
Right. But Lutra's still gonna sit there and be like, how could I let this happen? I put everybody in danger. You did this. Like, he starts screaming as loud as he can off the top of his lungs. Anything he can do to try to, like, distract her or anything.
Unfortunately, because of the nature of her complications, you will not be able to distract her.
Which is fine. I'm just saying, that's not what Lutra's doing.
But yeah, it is Phantasm's turn.
Because I wanted to be thematic.
So, at this point, Phantasm looks over to Mount Vesuvius and just sort of nods his head. And I will be spending a hero point here.
The one you gained from them making you go one-on-one.
Yes, but I'm going to describe it because it's going to be happening simultaneously. So, in like an odd way, like actual visual green winds are starting to whip around Phantasm. And in those green winds is also like black streaks as well. So it looks basically like green and black together. And Phantasm is actually going to use 2 moves. One is going to be directed at Lutra inside of Shemhazi's mind, and the other will be directed at Shemhazi herself. So Lutra, and then Shemhazi.
Alrighty, so Shemhazai is actually the one who is going to make the will save because she's the one binding him on the Winds of Freedom. It will actually use your ranged attack bonus. So it's going to hit. So she'll make the will save on that one first. And Then we'll do the attack off of the other one. So her will save. Actually, that's going to be this because of that. Okay, so before the warp strike happens, the green winds that you see manifesting around Phantasm, they sort of coalesce and they project not just from Phantasm, but you see the glow of the medallion in his hand. And the green wind goes right at Shemhazai's head. And basically, you know how like gust of winds work, sort of push, and they don't really like stop anything. But as the wind protrudes from the backside of Shemhazai's head, there is a little bit of an extra tag along as the wind comes out of Shemhazai's head. And well, because it's funny, we're gonna have Lutra get spit out of back of Shemhazai's head and crash into Anton.
Hey! Oh, hi, Lutra.
It just pretty much just falls directly to the ground.
And then the warp strike, which will definitely hit. She will take a bruise. Lutra, you will go at the bottom of the round after Shemhazai, just because of the nature of...
To be completely honest, I'm actually certain Lutra's not going to stand up for the rest of this combat.
Well, that's where Lutra's turn is going at the end of the combat anyway. So you have a chance to react if you want to.
Fair.
But with that, Pompey, you're up.
Okay, so since Anton is right behind me, we are going to do, now that we see Lutra is out, Anton is going to form a giant boulder. I'm going to set the damn thing on fire.
Oh, you're using
right
your
at her face.
You're doing your combo molten barrage attack.
Yeah, I'm turning my shield into
All right.
a projectile.
Both of you go ahead and roll your attack check. We will do the team check here.
It's like Wonder Twin magic from Final Fantasy IV.
Pretty much.
I'm going to use my hero point to re-roll that.
No. That's an area effect, so you don't have to re-roll it. You're going to hit the bolt.
What am I rolling? Am I rolling Maul of the Earth? I don't remember what I'm rolling.
You can.
No.
Did you have a ranged attack?
I had something.
I mean, you can go ahead and roll Maul of the Earth. It's basically you take a giant hammer and you're creating the hammer to swing, and it's just basically what I'm going to rule is the hammer's going to get caught up in the flamethrower, and you're basically creating a hammer missile.
That works for me.
A magma hammer missile. So she will end up having to, actually these will go down because of that. She's going to end up having to roll a dodge check because it's technically an area of effect. If it hits, I will adjust the DC ahead of time. Well, she's going to dodge a little bit out of the way, but she can't account for a giant freaking hammer. So basically, it's going to be at the normal DC of Dark's flamethrower because she hit the dodge DC, but not by enough to completely reduce it. She's going to basically reduce the DC by 5, which puts it right back to where it was before the hammer was thrown. So, oh yeah. So yeah, this is one of those puzzle fights. This is a whole lot less anticlimactic. Basically, she is so focused on Phantasm, who just warped over to her and attacked, that she doesn't expect until it's too late the giant cascade of earthen magma hammer.
Now, question, TGE.
Answer.
Just because of the nature of warp strike, do I have to dodge?
No.
Because I literally warp my sword right into her.
Right, but it's a line area, and she's being hit by the giant hammer. Had she dodged, because basically everything's sort of hitting her right in the back. Had she dodged out of the way, you would have had to. So she's not down and out, but she will be taking, again, with the house rule, 2 bruises and a staggered condition. So you basically, and there is now a giant rock mark on her back. And for the record, it looks really freaking awesome. For anyone who's ever played Magic the Gathering, they literally just created volcanic hair.
Wow.
Except that was a little more than 3 damage. It is her turn, and she can either move or attack. Normally, she would just be escaping, but because of the fact that Phantasm triggered her complication, she is sticking around, and she is going after him, and she is going after him with Soul Devouring Arrow. But I've literally rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3 in succession.
You're muted, Graham. I can't hear you.
I was just doing meow to myself.
Yeah. So 1, 2, and 3. She's then going to spend the villain point that her complication gave her to shake off her stagger condition. It is technically Lutra's turn.
Lutra's laying face first on the ground.
Okay. Phantasm.
So, Phantasm, instead of pulling his sword out of the stabbed Shemhazi,
Oh god. Oh god.
the sword just disappears and then reappears above.
The sword of Damocles.
Oh my goodness. But apparently misses.
It appears, and not because of anything more than sheer dumb luck. Basically, she goes to fire at you. She misses as your sword disappears, and because she overpulled the string, she sort of falls forward with the tension, and the sword lands right next to her. It was nothing more than sheer dumb luck. All right, Captain Furnace.
Captain Furnace.
So her back is still to us, right?
She's more sort of sideways, getting a glance at everybody now.
So I'm just gonna do that, really ticked off, jog up to her, letting my hand on fire as I go, and just getting as close as possible, and just blast her in the face as I get pretty much as close as I can, and just swearing at her the entire path as I'm walking to her.
Beep, 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 beep.
And you guys hear the word Lutra 5 or 6 times in the middle of all the beeping.
Hit the button. Alrighty, Flaming Butterfly Swords. You will hit her. You won't hit her by any tears, but you will hit her.
Good job, Kilauea.
Good job, Killstealer.
To be fair, I did most of the damage to her in that fight. Well, me and Anton.
Yes, but there was... So yeah, in a tirade of language that would make most sailors blush, Malkier comes running forward, full-on blazing blue fire, leaving a trail of cinders behind him as he charges in with both of his daggers. And with a heroic cry of, "You bleepity bleepity bleep did that to my bleepity bleepity bleep bleep." And the last word you hear is Lutra as both daggers come into Shemhazi's back and just get ripped across. And you hear the most ungodly of screams. And there's just sort of screaming, and the sort of light starts pouring out. And you get the very typical RPG boss overdramatic death scene. But after the light shines and everything out, there is Well, no more Shemhazai.
Immediately, Phantasm runs over to Lutra.
He's just laying on the ground. And he's crying profusely.
To answer your question, just so I don't have to type yes.
Okay.
So, Phantasm sort of plops down next to Lutra. Like, almost imagine someone with bad bones just trying to sit down on the grass or something. So it's sort of like they're trying to ease themselves down, but they end up just falling onto the ground anyway.
So you're like an old dog flopping onto the ground.
Yes.
And then Malcolm would just flop on his other side, just like right next to him, and just like absolutely like weak, just from like no adrenaline now.
Just incinerate the ground around you.
Well, I mean, after I did the attack, like that was like my like.
Yeah, it was everything
so
sort of just coming out at once.
So, as Phantasm looks at Lutra, he holds up his hand and he just opens it up a little bit, and the medallion itself falls from his hand. He's still holding onto the rope. He looks at Lutra and says, "This is why I came. I'm pretty sure you understand now why I couldn't tell you I was coming."
Lutra isn't really listening to you, because he's still crying very loudly. You hear him mutter during all of this, "It's all my fault. It's all me. They attacked Ben and Van and all of you, because..." He looks very irrational, and he looks like he's about to do something very irrational.
Lutra, it's not your fault.
Yes, it is!
If anything, it's my fault.
I let her in, I listened to her, I didn't listen to any of you. What kind of a friend am I?
She's not here anymore.
At this point, I just put my hand on Lucha's shoulder. I'm just like, "You're our friend. You think that we won't be there for you?" And you just like hear like Malkyr like a voice, like a tone that doesn't usually come from him.
Lucha kind of shakes his head, though, and he forces himself up to his feet, kind of away from you guys, and then stands up and just turns around. So it's like, kind of turns around and basically says, "But I just put every one of you in danger. It's all my fault. If I wasn't here, none of this would have happened." And before you can say anything at all, Lucha turns around and just starts running as fast as he can, and he just starts running away from everybody.
Does Lutra have the ability to climb?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you are on top of a giant rock.
Well, to be fair, I've got a grappling hook.
True, but there's not a whole lot to attach
I think
it
he
to.
has climbing. Now that I actually don't know if he's got climbing or not.
Before Lutra gets too far, Anton's going to raise a wall around him,
He's gonna try to jump
preventing
it.
him from running, with a roof on it.
Lutra can run at 30 miles an hour, so I don't know how fast you can do that.
That would be an attack check versus a dodge check.
Never mind.
Well, you can if you crit your dodge check, I will rule that you can escape it.
Nope.
No.
I rolled a 2.
So Anton forms a rock ball around Lutra and rolls him back to us.
Just screams. A lot of things he can't say on this channel.
So he's basically
channeling me.
repeating Malkyr.
Not really, but yeah.
Lutra,
starts-
what are you running from?
Lutra doesn't answer, but he just collapses in the ball and just starts bawling his eyes out. It doesn't seem like you're going to get much of an answer from him, although he isn't running anymore.
So with that, Anton's gonna just pick Lutra up and take him to the jet. So
I just
it's getting
go closer
before
to.
he tries to run again.
More like at this point, he's just kind of cried himself out. Like out.
I just start like walking to the jet, and as I pass Phantasm, I just do like one of those like hard backslaps, and just kind of like say like "good job," and like just like smirk at him and just keep walking.
Anton, can you take
Yeah.
Lutra to the hyperbaric chamber inside the plane?
Yep, we'll stick him in.
We have one of those?
Sure.
Yeah. We have to heal people somehow.
That's a good point, yeah.
Doesn't everybody have a hyperbaric chamber on their personal jet?
I mean, I guess we have a war room, so why not?
So Phantasm walks in, walks up to the jet, punches a few buttons. One was autopilot, the other was to shut the AI up because he didn't want any sarcastic comments that might upset Lutra. And then he walks
Well
back.
played, sir.
Then he walks back and just sits next to the hyperbaric chamber.
The AI is simply piloting the autopilot.
I don't actually know what a hyperbolic chamber does.
It's basically an oxygen tank
Okay.
That
allows
for-
you to just like, get extra oxygen and recover mentally.
Okay, you know what?
At this point,
I think I have seen that.
Ever
now.
watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, well, I know that.
Goku.
but-
Yeah, Goku's like little chamber there.
Yeah.
yeah, basically because I figured Lutra exhausted himself completely.
Yeah. No, he's
with
out.
all-
Not to mention, he's just kind of gone through an out-of-body experience.
Literally
Yeah,
and
quite literally,
figuratively?
yeah.
As he's sitting there, Phantasm looks up over to Anton and Mock here. Thanks, guys, for really helping out with all this. I mean, it's such a shame that Lutra had to go through all that. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. We have to just work with Lutra because he's going to keep blaming himself.
Malkir doesn't say much, but he's had like the same like internal demons, so he just kind of like nods at Spectre. Phantasm. I still mess that up, but he just kind of like nods and just gives him like the solemn, like kind of pissed off but not pissed off look.
Other than that, I don't think anything is going on.
No, Lutra, even if he wakes up, he's not getting out of there.
All right. So it is a long flight back to Bay City, and nothing of significance happens on the flight unless you guys want it to.
So they're just going to stay inside there. Either awake or not, he's just going to stay there.
So Lutra's not getting off the plane.
Well, I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were. Are we home yet?
Yeah, but say no one said anything was happening on the plane. So
Right.
guys safely to base.
No.
Phantasm picks the still exhausted Lutra up and.
Oh no! Once we land,
Oh.
and you open the door up, Lutra just kind of like. I don't want to use the word run, but he definitely beelines, without saying much of anything, directly to his room and closes the door and locks it.
Soon as the rest of you enter, you'll hear Hub. Is everything okay?
Hub, I don't usually speak to you. You know I don't usually speak to you. Not today.
Well, usually Lutra doesn't come running in here like that and lock himself in his room.
Exactly. So, no smart-ass comments today, Hub. I ask you that kindly.
Not trying to, just wanting to know what's going on right now.
So at this point, Malkia would fill in Hub, and I'm assuming Casey as well.
Yeah.
You can how soundproof are these rooms? Just out of curiosity.
Decently soundproof.
Okay. Trying to think if you guys would actually hear Lutra from his room.
Only if they're in the connecting room.
Okay. Because he's crying.
I mean, Hub knows, but Hub's not saying anything.
Oh, good for him.
Because Hub is too intently listening to Malkir's story.
Gotcha. If Hub looks in, he's laying in his bed cuddling really tightly with Chuck.
For those who weren't here for that, Chuck is Lutra's new stuffed goldfish.
Yes.
Does Lutra know by this point that Malkia was the one who sent that to him?
I don't think
No.
so.
Nope.
I don't
Lutra
think no,
has
he's
no
never
idea.
put that. It just arrived to him.
Yeah.
I think he
Lutra
must figure somebody from the group sent it to him, but he has no idea who.
Lutra probably figures it was Hub,
It's entirely possible, yeah.
and Lutra just saw a package with his name, so he went full-on Kid at Christmas and just tore into it.
Oh, yeah. Lutra loves opening packages.
So Phantasm just makes a run back to the war room on the ship and does a few things, prints something off, grabs it, walks back out, walks to the pantry, pulls something out of the cupboards, and I'm not sure how long it would take him to notice, but the next thing Lutra knows, on the table sitting beside him is a bag of goldfish, or Swedish fish, and a picture of him going through the air off the water skis.
So wait, the war room has a printer now, too?
Worms
Why
always
wouldn't it have a printer?
That's a fair point. When did we spring for the color laser printer?
It's Casey. You think he didn't?
You're right, yeah. How did you get that in his room?
He's Phantasm.
Fair.
He can get into any cracks. And Hub can crack the door open without fully opening it to let Phantasm in if he needs to.
Yeah, I would have just used the bends, but yeah.
Yes. So
But
whenever,
with that, after he does that, Phantasm just retires to his room, and it's one of those, he's so exhausted by everything, he like walks and just falls forward face first into the bed, and that's the position he falls asleep in.
Crash.
Pretty much, left leg sort of hanging off the bed, right
Right.
arm like up over the top, hanging off the back of the
Hanging off the headboard.
head of the
Right.
bed.
With the shoes on and everything.
Like one shoe's on, the shoe off the left leg, so like half.
Right. It's like there was an attempt to take shoes off, and it just didn't,
It didn't
happen.
go very well.
It didn't happen.
So at this point, Malkier would be going down to the gym, and if you flash back to a previous episode of the last time he got really, really angry at something, how he just started like tooling off on every single thing in the gym. It's kind of like that rehash, but even more so, just he had so much anger, like to come out.
So with that is going to be it for issue 2.9, Consequences. Also with that is going to be the end of issue 2. Next time you see us, we'll be moving on to issue 3. So because this is the actual end of an adventure arc, it's going to be 3 PowerPoints to everybody as opposed to 2. And with that, thank you all very much for watching. Remember that coming up here on the first Wednesday of January, we'll be moving to our new Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Bay City Chronicles. So go ahead and find us there afterwards. We'll keep reminding you about that. But again, thank you all very much for watching. And on behalf of everybody here, I am TGE saying thank you very much and good night.